The education department's review agreed with the score report that some teacher evaluations maybe shouldn't have the full 35% come from school-wide scores,
Right.
Which I think has to be taken up legislatively. I think the 50-35 is written into the law.
Right.
How do you envision changing that next spring? Do you think there's going to be a legislative fight over that since it's written into the law?
I don't think so. I think that's one of the elements of the plan that everybody recognized wasn't perfect. People realize that if I'm teaching an untested subject and then I get my 35% of my evaluation is based on the rest of the school, that's fairly heavy in terms of the fairness of the impact. So from the very beginning, that was one of the questions about the evaluation process. And we said all along, hey, we realize it's not perfect, but we also thought it was important to go ahead and implement it. So it would be, we wouldn't just be having kind of a practice game, if you will. So my sense is that the legislature will get that and understand why it's important to make that change.
One of the critiques is that principals have been too generous with 4s and 5s.
Right.
What is the state thinking about doing in terms of trying to rein that in?
Well, the irony is, if you remember back with the original complaints about the evaluation, was that nobody's going to get high scores, and that was one of the initial fears back during the legislative session. And our kind of hunch was it would play out the way it did. That the tendency of people is to grade folks high because you work with them and you go to church with them, etc. I think the point, what I think it shows that we need to work harder on the training piece of that for evaluators, and not to the end so that we can fire all the bad teachers. That's not the point. The point is, if somebody's not being effective, if your students aren't showing growth, then we need to recognize that and jump in there and help and give the right kind of professional development. And the idea that we're just going to grade folks low so that we can go fire them is exactly wrong.